Welcome back, everybody. Now, if you're thinking about building a deck, there are materials to consider besides wood. We're going to learn more about them on your Do-It-Yourself Wednesday. Andrew Lacombe joins us from Lowe's in Marquette Township with more. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Vicki. It's estimated that last year people in the U.S. spent over $3 billion on boards for decks. Now, about 10% of that was non-wood products. And so that's the focus of our Do-It-Yourself Wednesday segment this morning on what can you buy if you want to build a deck without using wood. There are different textures, different colors to consider. You can get all plastic or some composite materials. Now, it's about 15 to 20% more on average to buy something that's not wood for a deck, but that can also save you money down the road as far as repairing a deck or fixing up a wood deck that definitely gets weathered throughout our winters and summers. So we'll be learning more about what's out there, what you can buy and install yourself to build a deck coming up throughout the morning. And so we'll be back here at Lowe's later on your morning show, but we'll head back to the studio now live in Marquette Township. Andrew Lacombe, TV6 News.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. Looking forward to hearing about that. And
if you're thinking about building a deck, there are materials to consider besides wood. Now we're going to learn more about them on this Do-It-Yourself Wednesday. TV6's Andrew Lacombe joins us again from Lowe's in Marquette Township with more. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey Greg, a deck that is made out of composite products is about 1.5 times more expensive than a wooden deck. However, the money you save down the line can make it more inexpensive for you to build a deck with something besides wood. We're learning more about that this morning. Jeremy Wright from Lowe's joins us. And Jeremy, just tell us how the installation of a composite deck is different than a wooden deck.
There isn't a ton of difference if you stick with the traditional way of building a deck. You can still, just like with a deck, when you're laying down the boards, you put a screw right through the top. You can do the same thing with a composite. However, you can also use a clip and make the screws disappear by having what's called a hidden fastener setup.
Okay, so there's grooves in the side of these pieces.
As long as you order that style, okay. They make both what's called square edge, where there's no groove, and then a groove edge.
Now this can be pretty long, right?
Yes, the longest board that we have here at the store is 16 foot, but we can order 20 footers as well. Okay. So that way you get no seams in a nice big long deck.
Now it looks like there's a ton of different colors that you can pick out, and obviously you don't have to paint it, right?
That's correct, yeah. You can, we have one brand that has 3 color options, another brand that has about 9, and the colors, there's just all kinds of different color schemes in it.
How long do they last?
Most of them have about a 20 to 30 year warranty on it, so it holds up very well, and it doesn't have the potential of rot like a wooden deck. You don't have to worry about staining it, you don't have to worry about sealing it and things like that.
Okay, now on your deck you also of course need a railing, and you don't have to have wood railings either. You can look at other materials.
Yeah, there are many different materials you can use for your rail system. You can stick with the traditional wood. You can accent maybe a wood with a composite, whether it's like a composite like this, or you can get into vinyl, which would be over here. You can also get into aluminum rails, which are kind of a newer thing that a lot of people are going with these days.
Okay, now how difficult is it to install something like the ones we see behind us?
It's not too hard. The biggest thing is making sure that you get your main post, which is normally like a 4x4, secured to the deck, so that way it's sturdy. Like this aluminum one has it where you can just bolt it down, and then there's a cap that goes over that.
Okay. Now, just one last question about, you talked about storage underneath the deck with water and everything? Yeah,
there's a couple different, it would be called like a dry space under part of a deck, and it's more or less like putting metal roofing is one way to do it, but there's other systems where it would drain the water away from underneath the deck, so that way you can have a nice dry area to store stuff.
All right, Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us this morning and telling us about some alternatives to wooden decks. So I don't know if people are going to be thinking about building a deck right now, today, and on this hot day, maybe just sitting on a deck, and you can sit out there and think about your new deck. That sounds good to me, at least. All right, well, we'll head back to the studio now, live in Marquette Township. Andrew Lacombe, TV6 News.
All right, some good information. Thank you, Andrew, and we'll be right back with your TV6 Morning Show.